So the story starts with this guy. He barely survives a giant monster attack on an island. And right before, he throws these secret files into the ocean. Then, years later, this woman travels to sort out her missing dad's stuff. And she gets a massive shock. Turns out he had a whole secret second family. She meets her half-brother, and together they find this hidden bag. And it's full of their dad's classified files, all about monsters. They take these files to a hacker friend just to see what's on them. But decoding them sets off these alarms, and suddenly this shady government agency is after them. They manage to escape, and they realize their dad actually worked with this older army guy. So they track him down to a facility, and he's locked up there. And he basically tells them, look, you need to run if you want the truth. Then we get these flashbacks. There's a young army guy, and he teams up with two scientists. They're tracking this strange radiation, and they just stumble onto an old ruined warship. But it's miles away from the ocean. Makes no sense. And suddenly, this massive, terrifying creature just attacks out of nowhere. They barely make it out alive. But now they actually have proof that these ancient monsters are real, and they're just walking the earth. Back in the present, the group actually breaks that older guy out of prison. They get on a cargo ship, heading to this freezing, snowy place to look for clues. And out there in the snow, they find a crashed plane, completely destroyed by some giant ice monster. They have to run out in the freezing cold, and man, the hacker almost freezes to death before they finally spot a shelter. More flashbacks show the young group, the trio, really trying hard to get military money for their tracking project. They find these huge footprints, and the army they drop a massive nuclear bomb to try and kill it, but it completely fails. The blast actually makes the monster stronger, so the military just takes over the whole project. They start building these tracking outposts all over the world, just so they can have early warnings. Anyway, back in the snowy wasteland, the old man does this really risky thing. He uses fire just to distract the ice monster. And luckily, the brother manages to fix this old radio and calls a rescue chopper right in time. They get picked up and they think they're safe. But, well, unfortunately, that shady agency is already inside the helicopter, so they get taken to a secret base. As prisoners, at the base, the agency is really pressing the hacker. They try to get her to give up the decoded files by, threatening her family. The head of the agency interrogates the old man, trying to find out what secrets are left. But he won't say a word. He kind of mocks them for their terrible choices. Eventually, they just let the three younger ones go. They're hoping they'll just accidentally lead them straight to the missing dad. So, the group travels to this completely ruined city. It's where a huge monster battle happened a while ago. The woman starts getting these really bad flashbacks, remembering the day she lost people during that big attack. It's tough, but they sneak past the military guards and finally make it to the dad's abandoned office. Inside, they find this secret map. It points to different monster locations all over the world, and they figure out he's heading to Africa next. But just as they're getting ready to leave again, there's a huge twist. The hacker sneaks off to make a secret phone call. She actually contacts the shady agency and offers to give them all the info they need. She makes a deal to betray her friends just so she can finally go home. The trust in the group just shatters, right when they're finally getting closer to the real truth. So, this rogue agent actually breaks the old man out of custody. And they end up tracking down the younger group. They all travel all the way to a desert in Africa, just following that secret map. And finally, they spot the missing father. But then, boom, a massive earthquake hits, and this famous giant monster just bursts right out of the sand, destroying everything. The old man, he actually decides to follow it. He wants to help the creature, but the others are like, no way, we are not joining this crazy mission. And that's when the hacker, she finally admits she betrayed them all. Right after that, the hacker gets kidnapped by her old shady bosses. Turns out, she used to write code for this big tech company, but she ruined their work when she found out they were hurting animals, like putting robot parts in them. So the rest of the group, they team up with a nice agent to go rescue her in Seattle. Eventually, the head of the agency steps in. He makes a secret deal with the tech company just to let the hacker go. So they're finally back together. But, a much bigger threat is coming. Meanwhile, the old man takes over this monitoring base up in Alaska with his followers. And he uses a ton of explosives to just blow up this glowing portal in the ice. The blast makes this huge vortex and it just sucks him and the ice monster right in. His crazy plan actually makes radiation levels shoot up all over the world. The younger group realizes his next target it's this ruined nuclear plant, the exact same place where their grandmother supposedly died a long time ago. So they rush to this old plant to stop him from setting off more bombs. The old man, he tells them he's actually been to the Hollow Earth before. He thinks destroying these portals will help the giant monster keep the world safe. But before they can even stop him, this massive insect creature just bursts out of the ground. It's total chaos. And while they're trying to escape, the hacker and the young woman accidentally fall deep into the underground portal. And the old man, he just jumps right in after them. Then we get these flashbacks. Turns out the old man led an army team into the Hollow Earth decades ago. Their ship crashed in this awful place, and this terrifying flying dragon just wiped out his entire team. He barely made it out alive. He got sucked back up through a rift. But here's the crazy part. Time moves really differently down there. So he ended up 20 years in the future, but he didn't really age at all. He just woke up in a hospital and the whole world had just moved on without him. Back in the present, the brother he's broken. He thinks his sister is gone forever. He yells at his missing dad, who finally shows up feeling really guilty. Meanwhile, down in the Hollow Earth, the young woman wakes up. There's danger everywhere. But then she gets saved by this mystery person, and to her absolute shock, it's her grandmother. She actually survived her fall from all those years ago. And because of that weird time thing, she hasn't aged a single day. Eventually, the old man and the hacker, they find them in this weird jungle. And they have to give the grandmother the terrible news. They tell her everything she missed. She's just heartbroken to hear her husband died and that her son grew up without her. They figure out they're stuck in this, middle zone between the surface and the deep Hollow Earth. So they use this old radio thing to send an SOS signal, just hoping anyone up top will hear it. But while they're trying to open a portal home, they accidentally attract that same terrifying flying dragon. But luckily, the giant atomic monster shows up too. And this massive, brutal fight just kicks off between the two ancient beasts. The atomic monster completely destroys the dragon and throws it into the vortex. This makes a clear path for them to leave. The group runs into this old, rusted pod to escape, but the old man, he bravely sacrifices himself so the rest of them can get away. So the three of them blast through the portal and finally crash back onto the surface world. They step out into this heavy rain, right in the middle of a secure base. And the brother and the father are actually waiting there for them, because up here, 2 whole years have passed. But then the hacker looks up. She sees the logo of that terrible tech company on the walls, and she realizes they are definitely not safe yet. And right then, out of the dark jungle, a giant ape just lets out this massive roar and starts beating his chest.